Okay, welcome. This is G.
And I'm Amy.
And this is All Astrology. Today is December 17th, and we're going to give you a little update on the current energies for today. There's some really cool metaphysical type of stuff occurring.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Because our intellectual thinking stuff is a little on the down low side. It's kind of being covered. We're going to go into details about it. The moon is trining Jupiter right now, so that's a beautiful thing. I know we are also in the midst of the sun trining Eris.
Trines are always really positive, just so that you know.
And if you don't know what these things are, if you've never heard of Eris, we're going to explain all that. And then we're also going to discuss Mars trining Neptune. So trines, we're just talking about trines. And we've
triangles in the chart. Aspect where you've got water to water, earth to earth, air to air, fire to fire.
Like elements, trine, but like energies,
square.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you've got fire and fire, that's a trine. Water and water, that's a trine. But if you've got cardinal and cardinal, that's a square. You've got fixed and fixed, that's a square. Mutable, fixed, cardinal, mutable, fixed. They're squares.
Right.
A square is 90 degrees. Then if you've got the elements, 4 elements.
Going to be fire, earth, air, and water.
When those link up, they're 120 degrees. When they match, it's a trine.
It's a trine.
Trine, baby.
Those always add ease. They always add something really beautiful.
We love this.
We love trines.
The only downside I could speak to about a trine,
sometimes we can get a little lazy about them.
Things just flow so effortlessly that we tend to just kind of back and be like,
oh,
it'll be all right.
I've got this. This is cool.
This is All Astrology. If you're new, we do free one-time subscriber reading. It's a gift. It's a high-quality report. It is intuitive. It is intellectual. It is wisdom of the universe.
Not computer generated. Us generated.
Yeah. We or just me. It just depends on how busy Miss A is. Okay. So if you just keep listening, we're going to go over these current energies, and then we're going to tell you how you can get your free report, your free real live report. So let's talk about the first trine, which is really simple. It's just the moon trining the moons in Virgo.
Right. This doesn't last very long because the moon doesn't stay any place very, very long.
What does that mean? Virgo is our domestic pets.
There she goes.
She's the green-eyed one that always, well,
both green-eyed girls.
But it's always big green eyeball staring into the camera. So Virgo is all about the domestic pets, and so the moon right now is trining Jupiter.
Hi,
Jupiter is in Capricorn, so we have light elements, earth and earth. All right. So what does that mean? It means you're going to have some ease added right now. Virgo's all about organizing, more specifically to our domestic life, our daily routines, projects, and our health.
Our day-to-day work, doing for your job, but like the day-to-day routine part of your job.
Jupiter is in Capricorn is our work. It's our professional career. It's our goal. What kind of goals do you have in your life? Your emotions about your goals, you might think you're like right on course. Because we got Jupiter over there in Capricorn, and Jupiter tends to kind of exaggerate a little bit. Like, oh yeah, I got that under control. It's all good. Well, take it as a day of peace.
The downside of Jupiter is sometimes it's a little bit more than it can deliver. So just be aware of that. It is a gas giant. So be a little excessive.
Yeah, that's the moon. The moon is fast. Now, it will be in Virgo for another day because it's at an early degrees. It's like 9 degrees. How long is a moon in a sign?
2.5 days. It's 2 hours for every degree, and there's 30 degrees in a sign.
We have that trine going on, so it won't just trine Jupiter. That means that as the moon moves through Virgo, it's going to trine Saturn. Saturn's like at 20 degrees right now, so it'll eventually trine Saturn, which is wonderful. Anytime anything trines.
Oh, that's always a relief.
Because Saturn is also in Capricorn. We also have Pluto in Capricorn at 22 degrees actually, because it's 21:56. So the moon will then eventually be trining that as well. Actually, I'm kind of liking the next few days.
It might trine Venus while Venus is in Capricorn, because Venus is at 27, so by the time 29 degrees.
Let's go shopping. Let's buy this. Let's buy that. This we can spend the money on this. And in 2 days, it's going to be like Thursday going into Friday.
Don't overspend.
The moon leaves Virgo, it goes into Libra. Libra's ruler is Venus. And Venus likes beautiful things. Venus food, good food, high quality things. Venus loves shoes, purses, accessories, gifts. That's Venus. She likes high quality stuff. So there's just going to be that tendency. It's the holidays. So just keep that in mind, folks. All right. Let's talk about the next transit. We have the sun trining Eris. Now this one is fascinating because this powerful setup. The sun is your willpower. It is your vitality. It is your strength. It is where you shine. What is Eris?
Eris is actually an asteroid. It is a female asteroid. It is strength and of a warrior god.
Yeah, some describe it as like the uninvited feminine person, kind of like a feminine version of Mars. Well,
yeah, it's the female equivalent to Mars.
When I see Eris, I think of Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah.
Eris is in the sign of Aries, fire, warrior, won't back down.
And the ruling planet for Aries is Mars. This is why since the 1920s, when Eris first went into Aries, there has been this ongoing battle between men and women.
Yes.
The 1920s is when women got the vote. This is when suffragette came into being. This is when this all began, and we have been fighting, women have been fighting for women's rights very adamantly ever since Eris first began to touch into Aries and fighting the male-dominated patriarchy.
And what's fascinating is that we were just pointing out, because the sun moves fast, right? Well, the sun is in Sag. It's in fire. Elements matching elements, it's trine. Sun at 25 degrees a few days ago, because it takes 1 day to move a degree for the sun. It was trining Eris exactly.
2 days ago.
Exactly. So while we're doing this, she says to me, did you see that video? And I said, what video? She's like,
that's coming out of Chile.
yeah, and I thought, no. And so anyway, she pulled it up and she showed it to me, and I thought, oh my God, that's Eris. That is totally Eris. It's this fight for women's rights.
Yeah.
Bottom line. And it was women protesting, but in a really beautiful way.
And women around the world are learning this chant song, are gathering in massive groups of hundreds of thousands of women on city plazas.
So it's in Spanish.
Starting to translate it into other languages. Lawmakers, female lawmakers in a predominantly Muslim country decided to stand up in the hall chamber.
I thought you were going to say the halls of justice, but go ahead.
Chamber, they decided to stand up and sing this as a protest against the very male-dominant government that they have that has been putting down women's rights over the last several years. And so these women stood up and they are singing this song as a protest against patriarchy. Been like wildfire around the world.
It's amazing to me. I mean, you know, when I think about the astrology behind this, you know, about the power of the sun, a trine, adding power to Eris, literally fueling.
Fascinating thing about this is come January, when we have Pluto and Saturn at 23 degrees, perfectly squaring Eris at
Yes.
23 degrees.
Right.
Saturn is structures,
Yeah.
governments,
Yeah.
religions, the church, the mosque, you know, whatever those religious structures are. And Eris is the female warrior fighting back against those, coming into conflict with those. And we have those going head to head. And this is going to come and culminate, and that energy is going to build, and there is going to be no stopping.
Yeah, that's January, actually. We'll talk about that a little bit later in this video because we're actually going to give a free reading. I'm sorry, Zoe, you just completely dimmed everything. Hold on one second. And so it'll be relevant in this individual's chart. So we'll talk about it in more detail. We're going to move on to the next transit. Mars trining Neptune. Now, this is in combination with some other beautiful stuff. Mercury squaring Neptune. What's Mercury? It's my thinking, it's my logic, it's my rationale, it's that one side of the brain.
It's how I communicate.
Yeah, it's how we speak. Neptune is the other side of the brain. It's where your imagination exists. It's where you touch in with spirit. It's when you're praying and you're saying those prayers. It's coming from there, right? It's information you receive, inspiration that you receive comes in on that other side. So they're squaring up. So what happens is the power of Neptune kind of clouds the thinking and the rational and the logical stuff. In addition to that, right now, we also have this Mars trining Neptune. Well, Mars, power is our force, is our desire, is our passion, and it's in Scorpio. Scorpio's water, spiritual, but below the surface, deep stuff.
Be at one with the higher realms. And so having...
So is Neptune.
Yeah.
And they're trining.
And Mars rules Scorpio.
Yeah, it's in a really strong
it's
place.
in its own house.
Happy
Neptune rules Pisces.
Yes.
It's in its own house.
Listen to the stuff you're getting, whether it's in dreams or whether you're awake and you're hearing stuff, which just take the information and trust it.
Yeah.
Because Neptune is faith, is trust, this is stuff I'm getting from up there. And the stuff you're getting from up there, it's not like this astral plane stuff where there's other beings that exist. There can be some of that, but Neptune is an octave above that.
Right.
Okay. Neptune this is information from source coming in. So you want to listen to it and like track it, record it somehow, and see if there's some truth to it. Now Mars is at 18 degrees right now. We should probably state that. It's actually 18, almost 19, and now Neptune's at 16. So yeah, it was trining exactly a few days ago, but it still exists right now.
So they were exact. I woke up and it was in that in-between in the process of waking up, and I had a vision, a neonate, infant, somewhere between 6 and 9 months in utero. These little eyes and a smile. So, and I heard a name very distinctly in my head. And what I heard was, she's pregnant. Now, we have the name I heard was a client of ours. We didn't know this person. They had contacted us. And when we had gotten this person's information, I had looked at her chart and I said, I had gotten a message, said she needs to go to the doctor. She has endometriosis, can't get pregnant. Well, I didn't really quite know how to tell her this because we didn't know her. And I said, I think you might be having some gynecological problems. You need to go to the doctor and find out what's going on. She said, okay. Came back to us after she went to the doctor, says, we have endometriosis. I was like, I told you. I told you. When I got this image in my head.
Well, she had also shared then, right? Once we did the reading, she had also shared they had been trying to get pregnant for the last couple of years.
A couple of years.
Yeah.
So when I got this image, I immediately messaged her and I said, please take a pregnancy test. I think you're pregnant.
Yeah, and you share this with me, and I'm like, how are you going to do this exactly? Because, I would hate to, disappoint somebody, right? Especially, you've been waiting for 2 years,
been
trying.
So I get a message back. Oh, wow, you are awesome. I took the pregnancy test on Tuesday. I'm pregnant.
Surprise. Yeah. Right? So that was great confirmation. This was Mars trining Neptune exactly. Yeah. Like information's coming through, you're hearing clearly, trust it. And in conjunction with that right now is the Mercury squaring Mars. I know it's a square, so it's like, wait a minute. Not all squares are bad. It depends on the planet and what sign they're in. All right? And because Mercury is in Sag, and Sag's ruler, here's where I'm going to get confusing and I'm not going to go in depth, but Sag's ruler is Jupiter. Traditional astrology, Jupiter ruled Pisces, and that's where Neptune is right now. Okay, there's lots of ways that things can look in a chart, and it's very complex, but bottom line is it was the real deal. And I want you to share this other story real quickly. We were sitting here at the house, your husband was here, they turned on some Christmas music, they're like, we got to do the tree, and here I was over here trying to get some backdoor stuff done on these videos, and I'm trying to do editing, and so they're back there decorating, going crazy.
I'm going back and forth,
he's
hanging
going
up
nuts
ornaments.
with the lights, he can't get shit to work. Anyway, it was nice though. It was very calm. The music was on, and I'm over here doing this. And I'm sitting here like this, literally have headphones on, okay? And I'm just, and I see somebody walk up, and I turn and I look, and it's Miss A, and she's standing there, and she's got like tears in her eyes. Yeah, she's got like tears in her eyes. I'm like, what's going on? I take the headphones. I'm like, what's...
And I looked at her and I said, your sister's here. Your sister is here. She wants me to tell you that she's here, and she wants you to know that she misses you. Now, her sister died almost...
2016.
Yeah, almost 3 years ago. But she was here.
So what did I say after that? I said, so tell me something that my sister knows that only her and I know. Yeah, you came out and you were like, she's got on a leather coat. That's
and
right.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so it was a little piece of imagery, a symbol that basically confirmed the information you were getting. Later that evening, talking about childhood, because Steve couldn't get the lights working. Like these, how those damn blinker lights are. Those lights, they're so small, you just throw them out because they're a pain in the ass. My sister chimed in at that point and said he was a slave driver. Now, that was always said about him.
Yeah,
People
your dad
used to always say that. And the kids used to joke around about that. But that word, any other word could have been used to say the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was the word I heard.
Yes. So anyway, this is to give you examples, real practical day-to-day examples of information that comes through. Now, I get it. Like sometimes people hear and they don't hear if you're distracted. But this month of December is a really good time for stuff like this. There's prime energies set up that makes the veil thin. All right. When the veil gets thinner, it's like the energy is primed for spirit to come through and for you to make contact. Okay. So Mars trining Neptune is occurring right now, and it still exists because Neptune is a very powerful planet that is extremely slow, and the slower a planet is, the greater the orb. And also the fact that we've got Neptune squaring Mercury, and so that adds to the ability to hear the other side coming through.
And this is going to be true for well over a week. This is going to be at least...
But it's really powerful right now.
Yeah.
It's more powerful now in the next 5 days, okay? Depending upon you and where you are in your level of development, okay? So with that said, the next thing I want to do is for the people who've hung on, I appreciate you, listening to all of our stories and trying to just basically share knowledge of astrology in a very tangible, practical way, okay? To get a free reading here, all you got to do is comment your birth info down below. Just comment your numbers and we'll hook you up. We'll take care of you. We don't know how long we're going to do it for. We are enjoying it right now while we can. and hopefully we don't drown in it. But while we're doing it, be smart and just comment your stuff down below and we will get back to you. With that said, we're going to start this reading. This is a free reading, but more important, well, not more importantly, but just as important, this is for Cancer Ascendant, Cancer Risings. All right. So if you are Cancer Ascendant, Cancer Rising, there are going to be relative things in this reading that are going to make sense for you, that are going to likely match up definitely all the outer planetary stuff, which is Saturn and Pluto and Eris and the eclipse that's coming up. There's 2 eclipses coming up we're going to cover in this reading. So you would want to pay attention to this because it will definitely be relevant for you.
It'll pertain.
Yeah, it'll pertain. So let me be quiet and let you give out the birth date, time, and place, and all that good stuff.
Okay, so July 16th, 1999, 5:25 a.m. This is in Oak Lawn, Chicago. This person just turned 20 this summer. So right now, what you're looking at are some very serious restrictions to you from authority figures. So given your age, I'm going to say
You're
that...
a baby.
I'm going to say that if you are living at home...
Yes.
Which is probably
Authority
a good
figures,
possibility,
home,
being
work.
20. You're probably getting a lot of restrictions from your parents if you're still living with your parents at 20, which at 20, I still was living at home. So you're probably feeling a lot of restriction from them as far as what their expectations are. You want to break free of that. You want to express yourself as an adult at this point in your life, which is completely understandable. And that's going to be very, very much a point of conflict.
Yeah, what happens is you end up being almost erratic in behavior because you want to be able to express your independence and your freedom. And the idea of somebody restricting you, it's like, I have to break away from that in some way.
Right.
You just feel like you're being held down.
Yeah.
People tend to be impatient, be very irritable when that happens.
Yeah. The other thing that you're going to have to be really careful of with some of this restrictive energy is that at the same time, it's also going to create a feeling of being tired. There could be some possible health issues that might come up. You're also going to have some really major changes in your one-on-one relationships, your bonded relationships. So your bonded relationships with your closest personal friends.
Yeah, I see you have a group of friends that you're tight with.
Very, very tight group of friends. And these friendships, not only now, but 2 years from now, those relationships are going to seriously change. They're going to be tested and they're going to change. That doesn't mean that these relationships are going to end. It just means that they are not going to be the way they've always been your whole life. And that's okay. You have to be willing to let them go because you guys are all the same age.
Well, we'll get there. That's 2 years from now.
That's okay.
We'll go into more detail about that when we get
All
there.
right. The other thing that you're having is if you have an intimate relationship with someone, that relationship could be coming to an end. And if that is the case, you need to let that relationship go. It is no longer serving you. That person is no longer being your biggest cheerleader.
Yeah, that's what happens. It's all about Saturn and Pluto, and Saturn and Pluto are in your 7th house. They're going to be, you've already got Pluto there, which is deep transformations. And Pluto isn't just, Pluto goes in and grabs something out by the root and throws that crap out.
Right.
And says, now let's see what we can grow fresh, like from almost seemingly nothing, right? And that's what Pluto does. It's time for something new. And it's basically an ending of the old to begin the new.
And if this relationship has had problems for a while and you've been trying to make it work,
don't fight Pluto. That's
fight
always
it.
the advice. Never fight Pluto.
Let it go.
Yep.
Let it go. It's time to move on from it. You're going to find that you're going to have a lot of people in your life, your friends, your family, your relationships, your work relationships, maybe the people that you work with, possibly your boss. You're going to have like these conflicts, these people opposing you that are saying to you, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that.
These are the rules. All about rules. Remember, when we hear Saturn, rules, restrictions, order, this is how it's done.
Yeah.
And it's hard because it's like if I want to break free, the last thing I want to do is obey rules.
Right. And this, all right. The other thing that I want you to be careful of during this time is what you eat. Be cognizant of it. Don't put junk in your body. Please be careful about the kinds of things that you eat. You're probably not going to want to eat. Probably going to be averse to food, pick and choose very carefully. Eat things that are healthy for you. Eat things that are going to nourish your body, because if you don't eat well, your body's going to rebel.
All right, so December 21st, Venus squares Mars.
Yeah,
all right,
this is definitely a conflict between you and a significant other.
Partner.
A significant partner.
Feminine and masculine energy, relationship energy.
This is that relationship really probably coming to its obvious conclusion. You need to leave it. You need to let it go, okay? You could also have these work conflicts coming up at this exact same time. All of these things are going to be changing all at the same time, and I know that sounds horrifying. At home,
everything's changing.
And work and your relationships are all changing at the same time. You are getting hit with all of this all at once.
Now, to put some perspective on this change, all of this change is because you are growing, you are evolving. This is for your highest and your best, okay? So it sucks going through it, but all you can do is just, like I'm always saying, tread water, and you'll get through it. You have a lot of nice support from the universe initiating these changes for your growth. I know, doesn't make it any better. It's what it is, though. Sorry, you're young.
But here's where it comes in. Okay, we have a new moon that's going to happen.
26th of December.
It's also an eclipse.
Yes, it is.
Which is a huge energy. And you're probably already getting the benefit of some of this.
I agree.
Some of this energy.
You're already in it.
Because of the way that it is manifesting within your chart, and the way it's hitting you in particular.
You have matching degrees.
You have exact matching degrees. And so this is going to light you up really big time. When this comes around, we would like you to set some very serious long-term goals and intentions for what you want in terms of your profession.
Yes.
What are you looking for down the road? 5, 10 years. We don't want you to just set short-term intentions. We want you to set some really serious long-term ones. If you do this, we really see that right now at this time that you could really surprising, beneficial income or information in terms of a new job, a new place to live.
Which I know you would not be a stranger to.
Right.
You have Eris in the 10th house. You're going to like new work.
Right.
It's going to be appealing to you because it's an adventure.
Right. Which is good and bad.
Yes.
So you're always going to be up for that new adventure,
Right.
but you're going to have a really hard time sticking with a job for a long-term haul.
That's the kicker.
Yeah. You're going to have to learn how to work through that as you get older to learn how to stick with a job. Something I can completely comprehend and understand.
What
let
happened
us
in your
know.
life? What was the benefit? Because what I can say is the areas of benefit. It's actually a professional benefit. It is in your 10th house, and it's connected to your 6th house, and those are job, career, profession, and it's my income, and it's my highest hopes, goals, and aspirations.
Being 20 years old, maybe
you're a young one, man.
Yeah, maybe what we're looking at is the fact that you might be getting a really sweet scholarship from a university. Maybe that's what you're getting offered, is this really sweet deal from some university to go and study what you're really interested in.
Yeah, and it looks like it is something different.
Yeah.
Because this eclipse, the energy squares your midheaven. Our midheaven is literally like, it is that spot we were talking about, our highest hopes, goals, and aspirations, our career.
Yeah.
It's literally squaring that. So it's like, okay, that thing that you wanted, that you thought you wanted, there's going to be a lot of tension and stress. And it's like, no, you're not going to get that. There's going to be a delay on that thing. But then there's this other thing that happens, and it somehow is attached to something that you value.
Right.
But it's a surprise. Whatever that is, you know what that is. Yeah, it's definitely connected to the money house.
I could totally see you getting this sweet deal somewhere,
Something beneficial.
You're going to end up moving.
Let us know.
You're going to end up moving because of it, and it's going to completely change all your relationships.
Yeah, be open to that, to considering
Be
that.
open to taking it and running with it. Be willing to just dive in with both feet and take it and run with it. It's going to be a good thing for you.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because what I want to touch on just really quickly is that because you have Pluto in your natal chart in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the foreigner. Sagittarius is foreign lands. Sagittarius is, I need to go on a long trip, a long journey. Now you have Pluto there, natally, which means your soul, that's your soul's energy, it's going to be transformed by doing that.
Right.
Okay, by doing it artistically, okay, but these long journeys, okay, going on these journeys, okay, and then also doing it in an artistic way. You'll get it in that avenue as well. But it's connected to this benefit we're talking about because Jupiter rules this. And that's where Jupiter is up there in her chart, or his chart, whoever this is. So this is, just seek it out. Let us know. We want to hear feedback.
Yeah, I would love to know because I'm just all of a sudden I'm getting this real distinct vision of you on this journey, on this new educational journey.
And that would be great. All right, we're moving you up to the 2020 year. All right, 2020. We're going to go to January of 2020.
We have
January 10th of 2020, I'm sorry.
We have two really huge events that are going on in January of 2020. We have an eclipse on January 10th, and on January 12th, we have a major conjunction that's happening. And for you, this is going to affect your rising sign, which also affects your sun, and then it happens in your 7th house, which is your house of relationships.
So what does that mean? This is the eclipse that says
you're moving,
you're changing work, you're changing work relationships, you're changing your one-on-one relationships. Your life is changing.
Your physical being, your physical location, everything about what's going on in your life is going to change. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to change right then and there. That means that that energy carries over for like 6 months.
I think this person's going to feel it sooner because that degree of the eclipse is almost exactly on your ascendant.
Yep.
And your sun is a couple degrees away from that. So the closer the closer the degrees are to being exact, the quicker we feel it, the more intense it is, the more obvious it is in our life. Sometimes eclipses occur even if you have a planet and you're like, well, damn, what happened? I didn't really notice anything. And it's like, you don't know why, right? But you have a few things. You have a couple of factors. And
you have a lot of factors.
Yeah, they're big factors. It's your ascendant and your descent. These are very big points. Okay, on your chart.
And your sun.
Change is a coming. So I hope you were looking forward to change. Just the best thing to do is use your Aryan energy, which is I love new things. I love to explore. And this will take you there. Okay? This will take you there. You just look at it like that.
Yeah.
20 degrees Cancer for those listening who are a Cancer ascendant.
If you have a Cancer ascendant at 20 degrees, if you have a Cancer sun at 20 degrees, if you have a Cancer moon at 20 degrees, or any of the big boys at 20 degrees of Cancer, this is going to affect you.
And that last eclipse we talked about in December of 2019, on December 26th, that was at 4 degrees Capricorn.
Capricorn, yep.
Okay, so 4 degrees Capricorn was the December 26th. See if you have anything in your chart that matches it exactly. And more importantly, see if there's anything that squares it, which would be 90 degrees away, or a cardinal sign, which would be 4 degrees in Aries and 4 degrees in Libra.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah.
And you do, by the way, lady or person, whoever this is on their chart. You do. It's not exact, but it's really close.
It's really close.
You've got like 2 or 3 degrees up there. And so everything about you is changing. Everything is changing in your life. And this is going to be good stuff. This is big stuff. This is like, this is the things that happen at this age. Like we just take off and we have to become who we are, what we came to be. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's move on.
Okay.
Another date?
February 14th. And this doesn't just apply to you, but it applies to you even more so than to other people.
Right, this is for everybody. So listen up, people, especially females.
Valentine's Day is going to be weird this year.
Strong Mars energy, very strong.
Mars is going to be at 29 degrees of Sagittarius this year. Venus is going to be in Aries, and the moon is going to be in Scorpio. What this is going to do, it's going to lend itself incredibly well to a hookup.
Yeah, right? It's going to be like, this is what I desire, and I'm getting it. Bottom line, that's what this means. The moon's involved. Venus is trining Mars, right?
Yeah.
There's this lovely idea, well, especially in this particular chart, you even have it more so.
Yeah.
Where they're lining up in a way where it feels so natural.
Good.
So good, so natural. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Our concern is that because if you're in a committed relationship at this time, this could be great. This could be romantically wonderful.
Yeah.
right? This could be like, oh my God, that was the best weekend of my life ever. Now, if you're not, if there's just some new thing that comes along at this time, typically 10 days later, it might not be there. Just be aware of that. This is how this is looking.
Yeah, if you've just met somebody within the last few weeks, if you've met somebody within a week, if you're looking for somebody, you know, on Tinder or on Bumble, don't go out on Valentine's Day and do a hookup on Valentine's Day this year, because guess what? Y'all aren't going to get a phone call.
Do it if you're okay with that. Like
If that's what you want,
if it doesn't matter to you, then do it, because it's going to be super compatible for that.
Hey, you're going to have the best hookup you've had in a long ass time. But if you
true.
actually want to date somebody,
If you're looking for a relationship, a committed relationship, this is not recommended.
this is a hookup.
Yeah, and it's going to sound really good other than looking good, because Mercury and Neptune are going to be conjunct.
Oh, God.
So everything
Thing
is
oh, it's going to seem so dreamy, and
Yes.
he's going to sound so great, or
Or she
she's
is,
going to
right.
sound so great.
right. It has a
It's going to be delusional.
yeah. There's very strong delusional tendencies here.
So,
all right, just be
you know,
aware of that.
March, I just want to mention this for you,
The health of your committed one-on-one relationships,
your friendships.
your friendship.
You're really going to be focused on the health of your relationships, your long-term
Yeah.
committed relationships.
Yeah, they're going to become really challenging. Bottom
Yeah.
line, they're going to become very challenging. It's going to take way more work than it did before for them to exist.
Yeah.
And energetically, this is what is here. So spend more than needed energy on something that you're literally fighting against the universe at this time.
Yeah.
So why do it?
Just know
Just
that.
be like, you know what? This is a cycle we're in, and accept it. Don't take it personal. There's a lot. There's a lot at this end and a lot at this end that's squaring up. And it's like a tidal wave and thinking you can swim against it.
And it's just not going to work.
No,
So you
there's no
just
point.
got to let those relationships be where they are, the way they are.
Right. And know
during
that-
this time,
Yes.
and know that the ebb and the flow
Yes.
will change, and they'll settle back down. Now, we just happened to look at something that's coming for you, believe it or not, in February of 2022. And we just wanted to give you a heads up, because this is for you and your friend group, because you do have this tight-knit friend group that we can see in your chart.
Yeah.
And all of you are going to be going through this major upheaval.
And that's because of the birth year.
Uranus and Saturn are sitting together, and Uranus and Saturn are sitting together,
On both ends.
and they're squaring each other.
Yeah.
So your natal Saturn has the transiting Uranus,
Right on top.
and your natal Uranus has the transiting Saturn sitting on top,
Yeah.
and they're squaring each other. This is very difficult. This is going to really challenge you in many, many ways.
Yeah, you have great value on long-standing friendships. All right, and you treat your friends really well.
Yeah.
The Uranus passing over that Saturn there means it's not going to be real fast. Uranus is not very fast moving.
No, this is going to
You know?
take a long time for these relationships to adjust
Yes,
to
they're
the changes that
transitioning.
are going to happen to you in 2022. Now, what I want you to understand, this is not this for you. This is going to happen in your friendships and your committed relationships. For your friends, it's going to happen in a different place in their chart.
Right.
Because you're Cancer rising, that's how it affects you. For them, it's going to have effect in a different way.
Right.
Depending on what their ascendant is.
But it's still Saturn squaring Uranus.
But
for
it's
you know,
still going to affect them, but it
Yes.
might affect a different part of their life.
Right.
For you, you may feel torn out of those relationships and feel that those relationships are...
Or that you need to break away from
Or
some
that
of those
you need to
relationships.
break from them.
Yeah.
For a while. Those relationships are going to be challenged. They're going to feel difficult. They're going to feel strained. You may have times of self-doubt within those relationships.
There may be shocks and surprises.
Right.
Maybe
You may
betrayals.
feel a sense of that you need to break away from them for a while. You may feel that you need to let go of some of it for a while and move away from it. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You may go through a time in your life where you have to break away from those friendships for a time, not let them go completely, but move away from them so that you can be your own person.
Yeah, and that's what they'll be doing too. Trying to figure out how to be for what they came to be. And sometimes we have to let go of our structures that we grew up with. with our established sense of, you know, the values and virtues that our family taught us and that they imposed upon us, right? That they imprinted on us. And we have to figure that out. Well, what is it that I really want? And so that's what this will all be about.
Everybody goes through a time in their early 20s, right about this age, where they have to break away from those things that they've grown up with, break away from the constraints that they've grown up with. And so that's the age that you're coming to when Uranus squares Uranus, and it happens in your early 20s, and it's when you have to break away from those things that you've had your whole life, that have been solid your whole life. And so moving away from that relationship group is part of that for you.
All right, so we hope that this has helped you. And with that, we're ending it here. Bye-bye.